Ladies and gentlemen, Madame and Monsieur, I butchered that. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Amy from Penventure. Are you ready to go to Paris, France? I don't think that's possible. But anyway, we can review the Aldwin Classic in Imperial Celluloid fountain pen, which is close to perfect. Join me in this video. Let's check out this writing instrument. I'm sort of backtracking right now. What else in regards of writing instruments made in France did I review on the channel? And only one other fountain pen runs through my mind, and that is another Aldwin, my one-of-one custom special Radon Urushi creation from Aldwin, which I'm going to show you in a few moments. You out there which are part of the fountain pen community already know the kind of fountain pens that are available from Aldwin, and also why they are so special. And I would like to refresh your memory if you have such writing instruments in regards of what are the details, how do they look, what is so special about it, what do I personally like about these fountain pens, what I don't like about them, and also for the newcomers to set a target, because I believe if you are a serious fountain pen collector, you need to have at least one Aldwin. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you watch this video, by the end of it, you will know. Anyway, in true Penventure style, I'm gonna show you the fountain pen in details. I'm gonna share some information regarding the company, the process of making this fountain pen. I'm gonna show you the side-by-side size comparison, details of the fountain pen, a writing sample, and in the end, I'm gonna wrap up everything in some personal opinions which reflect my experience with Aldwin fountain pens, and we are going to end the video. First of all, the company, Aldwin, based in Paris, France. As a brand, Aldwin was established by Mr. Andrea Mora, which is a very nice gentleman, and I had the pleasure to meet him in person at the Dutch Pen Show. He took a quick look at my Aldwin one-of-one Urushi creation, and he was very delightful to approve that creation, to bear the Aldwin name, and I'm super happy that I know him as a person. And we didn't dealt in the past or till this moment, but I'm very sure that at one point I would want to have one of his creations from himself. What we have right here is the Aldwin Classic, the classic shape, and the classic shape is the one that is synonymous with Aldwin. If you say Aldwin, I'm pretty sure you are thinking about a cigar fountain pen in an epic material, because they are made in all sorts of materials. But let's get into the details. Anyway, let's proceed with the customer experience. The customer experience is this box right here. This is the way that they deliver their fountain pens. It's very simple, very rudimentary, and there isn't anything that is super wow. You have these two hinges. Inside you will find the fountain pen resting. I haven't found any documents with this fountain pen, and I don't know if they are available with the fountain pen. I got my Aldwin Classic in a trade, and I don't know if the papers are available with the fountain pen or this is how they come from Aldwin. I'm gonna close the box. And something particular about Aldwin fountain pens, you have to understand that this fountain pen is made that simple in order to not deviate your focus from the material itself. In regards of the shape, the fountain pen is pretty simple. We have a cigar-shaped fountain pen. It's very soft to all of the edges of the fountain pen. It's streamlined. It is something that is synonymous with Aldwin, and I know you have plenty of choices on the fountain pen market in regards of shapes and all of that, intricate spirals, rectangulars, faceted, you name it. But this is simple, and it's not going to draw attention to the overall shape. It's subtle. It is something which I cannot explain in words. You have to see it in person to have the feeling of owning or holding an Aldwin. It's simple, it's streamlined, it's beautiful. It's made out of this interesting Tibaldi Imperial Celluloid, which, if you know celluloid, you have to understand that celluloid is rare because it's not manufactured anymore. It's very hazardous to produce. In the reign of celluloids, there are different types and colors of celluloid. You have the OMA celluloids, you have the Visconti celluloids, we have all sorts of things increasingly in rarity as they go. And at the top we have the OMA's Arco Bronze and Arco Verde, and above that there is pretty much a very high gap. At the top you have pretty much the king, which is the super rare and interesting and very hard to come by Tibaldi Imperial. There isn't anything much more rare than this that I can come up right now in my mind with, which surpasses the Tibaldi Imperial. My Oldwin Classic is made in this beautiful Tibaldi celluloid Imperial, which is composed of this marble structure made out of gray flakes, and in between the gray flakes you can pretty much spot this incredible electric blue, which is chatoyant, and it has some sparkles in, and it captures the light very well. And there isn't anything that can get you ready to see Tibaldi Imperial in person. It's that striking. I know Arco is rare and interesting and expensive and hard to come by, but Imperial, I don't know, 10 times or even more so better. And let's analyze the details of this fountain pen, and we will go through all of them because we don't have too many. There isn't too many things that can deviate your focus from the material itself. So this is the brilliant way that this Oldwin fountain pens in classic shape are available. And let's start with the cap. First things first, we don't seem to have any finial. This dome shape like cap finial, it's very nicely polished. We have this continuous shape that's going to form the finial. It's very bulbous like, because right here is thick, and in the middle of the cap right here it's a little bit more thinner, then it starts to flare out towards the end of the cap. The cap runs pretty straight and again shows the beauty of this interesting material. In regards of the clip, we have this very simple clip which has the same look and the same size on all Oldwin fountain pens. The only exterior branding, we have the stamping right here, Oldwin. The clip is very practical. It's quite strong and very easy to clip anything that you want in regards of keeping your fountain pen safe. It's a screw cap, and we have almost 2 complete turns of the cap in order to uncap the fountain pen. Although the cap threads are a little bit rough, I'm gonna explain all of that in my personal opinions regarding this fountain pen in a few moments. Till then, let me show you the nib on this Oldwin, because we have a very nice and impressive simple nib which writes very well. We have a Bock size 7, it's not 8, it's not 6. Put side by side, for example, a Bock size 8 gold nib, I don't see too much difference, but on the website, on the Oldwin website, it is said that this nib is a size 7 18 karat gold nib. Everything is laser engraved Oldwin, and the gold content 18 karat 750, it is stamped. Besides that, we don't have any sizes, and me checking the website, I haven't found any information regarding the sizes. I believe that it's only one size that fits all, either fine or medium, because I'm going to show you the writing experience with this fountain pen, and I'm going to show you my Oldwin 1/1 classic oversized. And when I say oversized, I'm not joking. This is one of the biggest fountain pens in my personal collection at this very moment, and the nibs seem to be the same, but this one is writing like a medium to broad, very wet, and this writes like a fine. The nib is powered by a very streamlined ebonite feeder. I believe this is a nib unit, and in regards of the filling system, we have something very simple, straightforward, like a cartridge converter. Let's check out this section. I don't know if we can call it a section, because the entire length of the fountain pen can be the section. Although the gripping point is right here, we have the cap threads. On the Oldwin, they are at the beginning of the section. In regards of gripping the fountain pen by those threads, I don't see any problem whatsoever. It can make you feel a little bit off with your grip, but it is not bothering the grip or making your fingers feel uncomfortable. If we were to, I don't know, analyze the polishing level of those threads in the capping motion, when you turn the cap, it snags a little bit. So it shows that this fountain pen is handmade. I know that when you are thinking about a fountain pen which is handmade, you think of it as for all of the good attributes and the attention to details of the human hand and the craftsmanship that goes into creating this object. With Oldwins, you sort of need to accept that they will come with some small minor flaws. In regards of this fountain pen, I have to admit that when I had the fountain pen in the first place, when I received the fountain pen, the nib was catching the inside of the cap. I'm going to try to attach a little bit of details, maybe a few pictures to show you what I mean, but this right here and this right here, the two wider shoulders of the nib, were catching the inside of the cap, the metal cap. I was lucky to have a friend which has a lathe, and he is a very skillful person, and he helped me to take roughly around 0.5 millimeter or maybe less from the inner brass housing that keeps the nib inside the cap, and that seemed to solve the problem. And that has to do with the fact that in time celluloid is working, it's shrinking, it's changing. With so tight tolerances, the nib will eventually end up I don't know, catching something in the cap or anything like this, but those are relative easy to fix if you have a friend with a lathe. Anyway, let's move forward with the ergonomics. Like I said, there isn't any marking where the section is beginning or the grip section is beginning and ending, so in theory you can hold the fountain pen from whatever point you like, regardless if it's right here or right here. It is the same and it feels comfortable. The barrel starts to pick up in girth from this point, and right here is the thickest point, and then it is going to end in this very nice conic streamlined cigar shape, and we don't have any piston knob or end finial, nothing whatsoever, because like I said, the fountain pen is a cartridge converter. Now let's take a quick look inside to see how it looks. And you would unscrew this part of the barrel, and inside it's a cartridge converter, very simple standard international cartridge converter, plug and play. You can use it both with cartridges or bottled ink using a converter. Pretty much that sums up the details of the Oldwin Classic fountain pen. Now let's check out the dimensions of this fountain pen. Let's try to put it side by side other fountain pens in order to grasp the overall shape and details. Here we have the Oldwin Classic capped next to a Omas Paragon, Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Nuda, Yardo LED Viceroy Grand, Oldwin Classic Oversize, and Lamy. Uncapped, the Oldwin Classic sits toe-to-toe with a Omas Paragon, very similar to a Momento Zero Grande from Leonardo. In regards of length, it is similar with a Yardo LED Grand Viceroy. It is surpassed by the behemoth oversized version of the Oldwin Classic, and it sits a little bit taller than a Lamy Vista. Now let's have some measurements. In closed position like this, the Oldwin Classic measures 155 millimeters versus the oversized version of this fountain pen, which is measuring 175 millimeters. Uncapped in writing position, the Oldwin measures in between the tip of the nib and the end finial right here, 135 millimeters versus the oversized version of this fountain pen, which is measuring 150 millimeters. The total weight of the fountain pen closed like this is 38 grams, and uncapped in writing position is 20 grams. This fountain pen is not going to be postable. The grip right here, diameter is 12 millimeters. The barrel has a 15 millimeters diameter at the thickest point, and the diameter of the cap right here, it's 18 millimeters. The fountain pen is inked and ready to go. And we have pen, Oldwin Classic in Tibaldi Imperial celluloid. We have the ink. This is diamine, Tudor blue nib. This is the number 7 Bock, 18 karat, and I believe this is a fine medium, but again, just like I told you, it's only one size that fits all. And I'm going to show you in a few moments. I'm going to show you right now. For example, this is on my other fountain pen. We have the size 7 Bock, and again, it's an 18 karat gold, and I believe this is a medium to broad because it writes so wet and very beautiful and gentle nib, and it's supposed to be the same tipping, but I don't know. Maybe you have more information in that aspect, if there are available multiple nib sizes. I haven't found them. Paper, Tomoe River paper, 52 GSM. And now let's have a look at the ink flow. On this Classic, it is quite tamed. I would put it medium to wet, normal, figure of 8s. And let's say it's a conservative fine point. It is a little bit off from an European fine, maybe 10% more in regards of the line with flex, and there is some give. This is not flexy, nor elastic, nor bouncy, not anything like this. It is relative stiff, and if you want to add a little bit of character to your writing, it can offer you that, but don't count on it. It is not a flex nib, and it shows. Now let's check how it's coping in some fast writing and looping and all of that with the famous sentence, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. There is no skipping, there is no hard starts, nothing whatsoever. The nib works very beautiful. It has a little bit more feedback than what I would find at a 14 karat Leonardo size 8 gold nib, but I've seen it in both nibs, the one on my oversized Oldwin and this one. Not fire hose wet, but again, it is more wet than what I would find stock from a size 8 fine nib, if it comes. Ebonite feeder, plenty of ink flow, consistent. I'm gonna wrap up the writing experience with this nib, and we are going straight into my experience with this Oldwin because we have a lot of things to catch up on. I'm gonna try to pick my words carefully in order to explain what you need to expect when you have an Oldwin fountain pen, what you get with it, and what you need to understand regarding it. I love the fact that we have something different in regards of shape and material, because a lot of companies can make you a very shiny, beautiful fountain pen with a lot of features, but you actually can spot that is modern made and it doesn't have that soul, that vintage inspired theme. With Oldwin, it's oozing of that. This is the sort of thing that brings you to Oldwin. On Oldwin, you can find pretty much anything and everything in regards of material. You can find wood, you can find celluloid, you can find ebonite, you pretty much have resin, anything and everything in regards of materials. And there isn't any universal shape better than the Oldwin Classic shape that can put the focus on that material. And this is what I love about this writing instrument. You actually don't have to take the writing instrument because of the shape. If you like the material, you will have it in the Oldwin shape. It's a nice writer, very comfortable, very balanced. The weight distribution of this fountain pen is incredible. Now, let's move on with some of the things that are maybe, I don't know. I'm going to pick my words carefully. First of all is the pricing. These fountain pens are insanely expensive. The ones that are made in celluloids, which are rare, like Arco Bronze, Arco Verde, Tibaldi Imperial, Burwood celluloid, they can go in excess of 1,500 euros or even more so. I don't know the pricing of this Tibaldi Imperial because I got it in a trade, but I do suspect it's around 3,000 euros. For that amount of money, you can expect something pretty wild in regards of features, limited edition, and all of that. And you pretty much expect flawless finishes. But with Oldwin, you really don't get that. You get a fountain pen which is made by hand. So you sort of expect some things to not work pretty much flawless, or they don't look flawless because it's made on a lathe by hand. Some of the areas on this fountain pen are not completely polished to perfection, a mirror finish. I don't know if that is because of the fact that this fountain pen has a few years since it's owned, it's pre-owned, or if it's how it came from the manufacturer. I do suspect that some of them are from the manufacturing process. I'm willing to look forward from everything in that aspect. There is the threading measure, which on my fountain pen the nib was catching the inside of the cap, and pretty much that's not a very quick fix. It is if you know someone, or if you have friends, or if you have someone with a lathe, you pretty much have to send your fountain pen to a pen maker to actually work on it. I have noticed that the nib is going to dry if the fountain pen is capped and it's left like so for, I don't know, a few days, 4, 5, 6 days inked. I've seen that the ink is evaporating from the nib, and the first strokes you actually need to wait until the ink flow is going to catch up with the nib and starts to write. And overall, besides the pricing matter, the nib drying out, and the fact that the celluloid is sort of shifting and curing, and it shrinks and it moves, maybe that makes the nib to catch the inside of the cap. Maybe this sort of problem is only on this fountain pen, although I do think on celluloid fountain pens it can happen, or at least I observed this happening on different celluloid fountain pens from different brands in my collection. It's sort of expected from this type of material, but we have wood, we have resin, we have other materials from Oldwin, which I do believe that they are not that prone to this sort of problems. I think that sums up the overall review of the Oldwin Classic in Tibaldi Imperial celluloid that I own in my personal fountain pen collection. I want to thank you for spending this time with me on the Penventure YouTube channel, analyzing and reviewing the Oldwin Classic in Tibaldi Imperial celluloid. If you have any other questions, if you have suggestions from experience and past videos that you want to share with me, comment down below and I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions or your suggestions. Thank you so much for your support. If you're looking for a next writing instrument, just scroll down, you will find the details for our website, our social media accounts, my phone number, email, anything and everything that you may need in order to get in contact with us. If you want to support the growth of the Penventure YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you're not subscribed right now, just click there, turn the notification bell on, and you will be notified whenever we have new content. Speaking about content, if you want to continue watching my videos, I'm gonna leave you this right here. You can click and continue. As always, I'm your host Amy from Penventure, and I look forward to seeing you next video. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.